What's going on, guys? My name is Perky, and today I'm bringing you part 2 in the series where I talk about why Call of Duty Ghosts sucks. And I covered this a lot in part 1, and you're going to need to watch that first so you know exactly what I'm talking about, because I'm not going to go back and just reiterate everything. I'm going to give you a little outline of what I was talking about before, but you need to check that out first. So there's going to be an annotation or a link somewhere for you guys to go check that out, and hopefully you like that one and then come back to this. Alright, now in part 1 I covered a lot about how the map design and weapon balance is just completely off in Call of Duty Ghosts. And I also discussed how they go hand in hand, because a lot of times the weapons are fine. A lot of times they're perfectly balanced. It just comes down to how the maps are designed, and that's what gives a certain type of weapon the advantage. And that's what happens in Ghosts, I think. I think the map design is the worst out of all the Call of Duties. I was talking about this in the other one, so I'm not going to go too much more in depth. But in other Call of Duties, for example, the SMGs were given the advantage just because the map design was rather tight, but not so tight that the shotguns would be the dominant weapon. And in this one, it comes down to there are two extremes. The map design is either so close quarters that shotguns are really the only viable weapon, or it's so long range that any sniper can be hiding behind any amount of debris that they scatter around the map, which is another issue. Is the map debris. They thought that crapping out debris onto the map was what made a good map, and I completely disagree, because that's just camper friendly. The more nooks and crannies that some kid can hide behind, the more issues you're gonna run into with campers, and that's just common sense. I don't think that's even debatable. I think that's just something that everybody knows. But that's what they did, is they put debris everywhere. So there can be campers in so many different locations that there's just nothing you can really do about it. And, you know, that means that there could be a knifer around the corner. There could be a shotgun camper around the corner. And you're going to have to check 7 different corners and 7 different stories, because for some reason they thought that all those different floors made sense. It's my own personal opinion that maps with a lot of height to it are the most complicated, annoying, frustrating maps to play on overall. And this was first made aware to me back in the Karachi days, back in Modern Warfare 2. Karachi was my least favorite map because there was always somebody above you, there was always somebody below you, and you had to check so many different windows and floors that you were literally at a disadvantage to anyone who was camping there waiting for you to walk through that. In the other games, you know, you had to check a good amount of space, don't get me wrong, like you had to be a good player to play it right, but there were ways to play it that you would be able to minimize the amount of angles you were shot from, and that just comes down to map design, and it comes down to Ghosts not really doing that well. They really dropped the ball on map design. And I think a lot of people underestimate the power that map design has on weapon balance. Some weapons wouldn't even be that good if the maps were just a little different. If that little camp spot was removed, you know, maybe that weapon wouldn't be so great on that map. You know, just in general talk there. And a lot of people are underestimating that. I think that's such an important part of the gameplay, the map design, that it can't be ignored. It has to be changed. And I'm not going to go buying DLC for a game that I hate just because they didn't spend enough time on the maps. It's frustrating to me to see this because I consider myself a pretty good player. And, you know, a lot of things go into being good at a first-person shooter. You know, it comes down to a combination of your accuracy, your map and environmental awareness. You know, knowing what's going on around you at all times. Knowing that your teammates' placement actually means a lot for the placement of the enemy team. So you can know where to go, where to look out for, just based on even your own team's position. And, you know, it comes down to target prioritization, knowing when to disengage from a firefight so that you can stay alive longer, come back, and maybe sneak up on the guy. You know, there's a lot that goes into being good at a first-person shooter. And this game, they did a reasonable job with the weapon balance. But the map design caters so much to campers and to less experienced players who are more used to sitting in one spot that it really kills off the rushing playstyle that a lot of more experienced players try to do. And it really comes down to, you know, killing should be less about luck and more about skill. So, you know, maybe a worse player might be able to get a lucky kill on somebody, but that shouldn't be a common occurrence. You shouldn't be able to do that repeatedly if you're, you know, not that great of a player. You should be able to, you know, obviously play against people of your caliber and do just fine. But if you're playing against better players, you should lose the majority of the gunfights. That's the way that, you know, the game should be designed. And it just doesn't hit that mark. It doesn't work out like that in a lot of the Call of Duty games. And that's where, you know, the whole quote-unquote bullshit comes from, is the fact that a player who's worse than you can use a certain tactic or playstyle to get an easy kill on a better player. Alright, now I've covered the map design and weapon balance to death. In the next video, I'd like to discuss more of the fact that there's server-side issues. The fact that, you know, the frustration behind getting killed for something that you can't control. I hope you guys stay tuned for that part of the Why I Hate Call of Duty Ghosts series. Hopefully that'll be the last part, unless I think about other things to talk about. Alright, my name is Perky. I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.